Hi, hello everyone, welcome to population ecology video. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you to population ecology. Before we proceed with population ecology, you need to understand what is population, what is ecology. So by definition, population is a group of individuals of the same species that live in the same area. And ecology is the branch of biology that study how organisms interact with one another and with their environment. So we can conclude that population ecology is the study of population in relation to its environment. So population ecology will help you to understand questions about what factors affect population and how and why a population changes over time. The study of population ecology includes understanding, explaining, and predicting species distribution. So knowledge on population ecology is very important, especially for conservation purposes. Population ecology involves two important elements. It considers the number of individuals and also dynamics of population. Number of individuals refers to population size. Dynamics of population refers to changes that occur in population. For example, in this graph, you can see the number of individuals or population size in every year and also the changes that occur from time to time. So population dynamics study how and why those numbers increase or decrease over time. As population ecologists, they will try to study how a population interact with its environment, such as how individuals in a population compete for food or other resources, and how predation, disease, and other environmental pressures affect the population size. Knowledge on population ecology is very important, especially for conservation purposes. If you are an ecologist and you want to conserve a threatened species, what you need to do is to assess the characteristic of a population that you want to conserve, because it will provide you with a baseline data. So what are the characteristics of a population? The first characteristic is population size. Next, population density, followed by population dispersion pattern. Population size is the number of individuals in a population. Population size is affected by natality, immigration, mortality, and emigration. Natality and immigration increase population size, while mortality and emigration decrease population size. Population density. Population density is the number of individuals per unit area. Example here, there are 50 monarch butterflies in a garden of 10 square meters. What is the population density? So by using this formula, you will get 5. Population can be distributed in one of three basic patterns. They can be clustered in groups known as clump dispersion, or they can be more or less equally spaced apart known as uniform dispersion, or they may disperse randomly with no predictable pattern. So clump distribution is the most common type of dispersion found in nature, while random distribution is rare in nature. Clump patterns usually occur when resources are concentrated in small areas within a larger habitat or because of individuals forming social groups. Okay, let's move to demography. So what is demography? Demography is the statistical study of populations and how they change over time. As we all know, populations are dynamics, meaning that populations fluctuate from time to time. There are many factors that can cause the changes in population, such as forest fire, disease, natural disasters, and all these factors can affect population size, whether increase or decrease in populations. So, to understand how population respond to these changes, demographers use statistical method to describe population. For example, demographers use statistical method to describe sex ratio, age structure, reproductive rate, and also life table of a population. So why is demography important? As mentioned before, population can change in their numbers for various reasons. So these changes can affect how the population interact with its physical environment and also with other species. So by tracking populations over time, ecologists can see how these populations have changed and may be able to predict how they are likely to change in the future. So monitoring the size and structure of population can help ecologists to manage population, especially if you want to conserve endangered species. Example here, demographers develop sex ratio diagram to show distribution of male and female in a population. This is second example showing on how demographers develop age structure diagram, and this will help us to understand the age distribution between male and female in a population. This is the third example on how demographers develop reproductive tables of a particular population. This is the last example showing on how demographers develop life table to summarize the vital statistic of a population. So life table can tell you the life expectancy of individual within a population. And this table can be graphically displayed in survivorship curve. A survivorship curve is a graph showing the number or proportion of individuals surviving to each age for a given species or group. There are three types of survivorship curve. Type 1, the curve is flat at the start, reflecting low death rates during early and middle life. Then it drops steeply as death rates increase among older age group. Example of type 1 is human. Type 2, mortality or death rate is constant throughout lifespan. Example for type 2 is bird. Type 3, the curve drops sharply at the start, reflecting low survivorship for the very young. But later it flattens out as death rates decline among those who is able to survive at early age. Example here, trees. Population growth is defined as a change, increase or decrease in population size over time. Population growth is controlled by the rate at which new individuals are added to the population, such as natality and immigration, and the rate at which individuals leave the population, such as mortality and emigrations. So overall population change is natality plus immigration minus mortality plus emigration. Biotic potential of a population is the optimum capacity for the population to increase in ideal condition. Under favorable conditions, population may reach its biotic potential, but this may not occur if there is limiting factors. Environmental resistance can be defined as the limiting factors, such as biotic and abiotic in an environment that limits the ability of a population to increase in numbers. So there are two limiting factors: density-dependent factors and density-independent factors. Example of density-independent factors is food, water, and shelter. Example of density-independent factors is flood, tsunami, and forest fire. So, if zero environmental resistance, population will achieve its full biotic potential. Density-dependent limiting factors happen only when population density reaches certain levels. If number of population increase at certain levels, food may not be enough and shelter may also not enough to support the population. So, this will not typically impact small scattered population. For density-independent limiting factors, it will affect all population in similar ways, regardless of population size and density, such as forest fire, disease, and also flood. There are two population growth models. First model is exponential. Second model is logistic growth models. Exponential model is rapid growth over a short period of time producing J-shaped curve. This population is growing at or near their biotic potential. The biotic potential occurs when the population is reproducing at its maximal rate. There is no restriction on the abilities of the organism to live, grow, and reproduce. For logistic growth model, it will stop after a period of exponential growth, producing S-shaped curve. This is due to limiting factors. As population approaches its carrying capacity, the growth rate slows because of limiting resources. Under ideal conditions, a population naturally increases until it overshoots the carrying capacity. At this point, the environment can no longer provide for the species due to a number of different environmental resistances, including food, competition, and etc. The population, due to lack of resources, will begin to die out, allowing the environment to recover. As the environment recovers, the species population is able to flourish once more. This leads to a fluctuation between the prosperity of the species and the prosperity of the environment. Therefore, we can see fluctuation in the graph.